Hi, Susan here, and today I want to show you how to make my collage beads. They're so beautiful and they're very simple, and you will want to make lots in different shades and colors, as you know I already have. So let's get started because these are really simple and really fun to make. So I'm starting out with these colors of clay. I choose a rainbow just because I like the way that looks with this, and I'm looking for something a little different. Now, if you wanted more oranges, you would add another one that would be orange. I kind of don't want as much orange. I want just the yellow contrast with the pink, and so I am not going to add an orange to this, so it's just a choice. I've used just a inexpensive cookie cutter that I got off of eBay. This is a set. This one's the 1.5 inch cutter. It doesn't matter which side you use. It doesn't matter what cutter you use. As long as you use a cutter, it shows you that you have the same amount of each clay of each color. Now, it doesn't matter how much clay you start with. You could just use one circle. I am doing this for the camera, so I like to use more clay than I normally would. So I am going to start to form these into teardrops, which is basically I'm going to create a ball and then pinch it on one end, and it will make it easier for it to go through the pasta machine rather than like this. It'll make it better blend for my Skinner blend. So I'm going to form these into teardrops and show you in a second. So I've got them all formed in a simple little teardrop, and now it's just an easier way to create a Skinner blend to get these colors to give me a few more blends of colors. And all I'm going to do is basically squish them together. As you can see, this is not a really planned out, definite way to do it. It's just an easier way than cutting it into V's and making squares. I find this just a quicker way when you're doing a lot of colors. So now I'm going to run this through the pasta machine long ways, so it will go through the pasta machine like this. Let me move this up. And then I will fold it on itself and run it through and fold it on itself and run it through. So I will come back and show you how pretty this looks. So now you can see this beautiful blend that I have. And I'm going to do something. I'm going to cut this because this is way more than I need. And I really don't want these bright colors right now. I want more pastel-y colors. So I'm going to take a strip of white, and you can see how much white I am using compared to the darker color. Now I want you to also see how dirty it is on this side. So if you get dirty white, don't worry about it. It won't matter. I really want this to be like pastel-y kind of colors. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll go half on this one and we can do double on the other one. Maybe that'll be a better way to show you. So maybe I don't get too pastel-y too quick. And so I am going to fold this over and run it through the pasta machine until it's a blend and we have more of a pastel blend. I can always add that other strip of white, but let's see how basically this is half as much white as the colors, because you can see it pretty much covers it evenly. So I'm going to mix this and come back. So now you can see I have a little bit more of a pastel-y pattern. Here's what I started with. Let me go opposite sides and adding that lighter color. I got, whoops, going the wrong direction. I got more of this kind of pastel-y look. Just to show you what I started with, what I ended with. I always like to give you the contrast results since I pull the camera so close. Now what I'm going to do is run this through the pasta machine on a number 3. So I've run it off on a number 3, and then I moved down to a number 7 so that it kept it without tearing. If you try to go too quickly to the 7, it'll just tear and squish and make it all funny. So now that I've got it really, really, really thin, I'm going to cover it with my gold leaf. Now I know this seems weird, but most of the stuff I do seems weird, so it's okay. And I'm just trying to literally cover all of the color with gold leaf. And then I'm going to get another piece of clay. Now I want to work with white clay because I want to make this look like it was torn paper. And so my backing on this will be white clay. You could use black clay, you could use gold clay, any color you want to contrast, that's a good color. This is really personal. I'm just going to show you the white because that's the easiest for me. So I will continue to cover this whole thing with gold. And then I will take another piece of white clay that I put on a number 7 and sandwich them. So let me go get the clay and let me finish putting the gold on, get the clay, sandwich them, and show you how I do this. So I'm back and I have a sheet of white that I've taken out on a number 7, and I am just going to, there's a little seal that happens with the glass table here. I'm going to just put this other sheet. I want you to see all of the issues I have, so when you have them, you know what to do. Okay, now I have put the white on just a piece of paper. This is just a piece of printing paper that my husband made a mistake on or whatever. And you can see how it's gotten a little wobbly and, you know, things aren't perfect. That's okay. We're just backing this sheet. Let me go this way. I think I had it in the wrong direction. Yeah. This way is better. And now I'm going to run this through the pasta machine again on a number 7. Now, you got to be very careful when you're feeding this into the pasta machine, especially if you have a motor, that you take it in slowly because it will have a tendency to stretch and distort too much. So let me run this through and you're going to see these cracks come through and these beautiful colors pop out. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and look at, now you see that beautiful rainbow of colors and you get this gorgeous gold leaf in between. I'm going to cut it in half. I have it sitting on just a piece of printing paper. Now it will absorb some of the oils in the clay, so you don't want to leave it here for too long. You could put it on wax paper too, that would be more effective. Or if you have paper that's already got the oils in it, it won't absorb anymore. But I just want to show you close up how pretty this is. You have all the gold leaf crackles and the colors coming through. Now, what are we going to do with this? I am going to take a scrap of clay I've just got, and I've rolled out, here's a really large bead. This would be like a donut. Well, actually 2 of these would be a donut. That would, and this would be a smaller bead size. And so I'm just going to take my clay and roll it out. And I like to really just rip at this clay. So I like to rip strips. Okay, and if you wanted your beads just to be all pink and purple, you could just use that side and do them all blue and greens and yellows on this side. Or you could mix them up. That is totally up to you. But all I'm going to do, let me get as close as I can. Let me open the lens a little. And let me move this out of the way so it doesn't focus on this stuff like the camera likes to. Come on, camera. There we go. And all I do is take it and rip it with my nail. And then I like to take the other end and I like to move the leaf around so it goes in different directions. And I'm just basically collaging over the bead. And by doing the rainbow at the same time, you can have rainbow beads. You could have, like I said, the purple and pink beads. It's just a quicker way to do this. If you only have 2 colors or want a 2-color bead, go for it. I just like to show you this, the quicker way that I do it. And see, now you're going to get just little edges of white underneath, which will look like torn paper. And I like the way that looks. It's very collage-y, kind of almost raku-ish looking. Very organic, and you can get different shades of purple in here. So all I'm going to do then is roll it on the table and then finish refining it in my hand just for a second. And you can see, now I like the imperfections in this bead. I think that's what makes it look so cool. And you can see the little edges of white sticking up just randomly, very, very delicately, so that it looks like torn paper. If you want, you can refine it more. Personally, like I said, I like it a little rougher, but this is a personal taste kind of thing. And there you go, I have it polished a little bit more. But in the end here, I will show you all the different beads that I make out of this. I'll do some rainbow ones, and I will do more of the green and yellows, but it's just basically taking some time. So if we did a larger bead, you might be able to see better. I'll do a donut bead so you can see really the texture, and I'll decorate it and show you how you can use this in different ways. And it's not even making a cane, it's just using some of your color blends. And here's what I got from just doing that little tear method of just tearing up different pieces of the clay in different colors. And you get this beautiful collaged effect. Now I am going to add some canes to this just because I feel like it's too bland for me. But you can see the beautiful gold leaf and how you have just these delicate, let me get a little closer. You get these delicate little white edging. You have to look very close. It's not really bright, but it's really beautiful. Now there's another thing that I did, and that was I used just the blue and yellow clay, and I used just the purple and pinkish color clay. And you could just do half and half beads like that if you wanted. So you don't have to do them all rainbow. I just like to show you the different options that you have. Now there's another option, and this one I did by taking, this is about a 2-inch strip of clay, and I am just going to tear it down the middle. Just easier to work with. It doesn't matter which side you work with, if you want the pinks and purples or if you want the blues and yellows and greens. That's personal. I'm just going to show you with the blue and yellow because I'm already working on some like that, and I want to show you how I get them. And so I'm just tearing down the edge. Now, I don't care about how perfect this is. Here's just a scrap of clay. And I'm just going to take that edge, and I'm sort of going to make like a twirl around it. Now, remember, I want this to be rustic. I do not want this to be perfect and pristine. The rusticness is sort of what I like about this. And now I'm just going to take a little bit more of that clay because it does not tear exactly how I want it to tear, which is fine. And I'm going to mix the end that matches, I'm going to attach. And so I'm going to take that bright yellow end, and this end, when I clean the ends up, I just take this little bit of white out and add it to my scrap clay. It's just not a benefit for me. So now I'm going to take that yellow end and start tearing from that. And sometimes I get a perfect strip and sometimes I don't. No rhyme or reason to it, but that's the same way I create, so it's fine. So you're just going to then fill in, working with, I ended with the brightest yellow, so I'm starting with the brightest yellow. You're just matching up the colors that you finished on. Now you can either take this end and tear it and add it alongside here, or you could have folded it over. I like to add it alongside because this way I don't get a bigger bead. I get the same size bead. I'm not adding any extra clay. Now I'm just going to roll it on the table just so that it embeds all the clay in. Now I'm going to take the side that has the most blue and use that as the top, and I'm just going to pinch this into a teardrop. And for some reason the gold leaf is coming up on this one. I must have had it folded over, but that's fine. And so I'm just smashing it down into a teardrop and creating a teardrop shape, and that's how I create all of these. And these are beautiful little beads that you know I'm going to use on a necklace. Of course you can use them for earrings, but I like to make a whole set of this because I can see a drop necklace with all of these hanging could be so beautiful. And you could embellish these also with some leaves or something else. That's up to you. But I just love the colors in these, just the way they're coming out. They've just got such a beautiful gradation, and I like the rusticness of them. They're very, very different. So just an idea that you can try, and you could do it with the purple and the pink too. I'm going to do that next so you can see at the end what these all look like. So looking at this bead, most people would skewer it this way. I have a problem getting them straight. That is the only reason I don't skewer it sideways across. I get some up, some down. They get all wonky. I find it easier to just skewer a hole straight in, and if I need a larger hole after I bake it, I'll drill it. And it's just an easier way for me to string it as an earring that it'll hang even, or on a necklace. So if you're wondering how I skewer these and why I put them in the middle like that, that's the reason. So now I'm going to add a lot more white to another strip of this rainbow that I've already blended, and I want to get down to a nice pastel-y blend. So I'm going to see basically burying this strip with a little bit more than 2 times worth of white. Let's see what we get. So I'll come back and see if we get that nice pastel I'm looking for. Well, the coloration on this is a little uneven, but I really like this. And I like the unevenness. I'm not sure if it'll stay when I reduce this down. So I am going to take this down to a number 3 and then a number 7, which a number 9 is the highest on my pasta machine, which would make the thinnest. And so just to give you an idea, if your machine is the opposite, go back to the second to last thinnest setting. I have a piece of clay rolled out on a number 7 on the pasta machine, this big black piece of clay. And I'm going to just cover it with this pastel piece of clay, which was the one we just mixed. And layering this up may be easier to start with than the last time how I did it, where I put then the gold. I will cover this completely with gold leaf. Here's some here. And then I will run it through the pasta machine. I'll cut this black off on the edge, but I'm just going to basically run this through so that once again I get that beautiful gradient coming through, and I have this crackle of gold leaf on top. So I'm just going to finish covering the rest of this. Let me take this black off. And then running it through on a number 7 again, which will make it paper thin. And I'll come back. So I put the color gradient in the wrong direction in my pasta machine, and I guess that's probably a good thing so you can figure out how I'm going to do it. Where I normally would have the gradient going this way so I could just cut a strip and I'd have the yellow to the pink, I now have the pink to the yellow on the other side, so it's about 12 inches long. Well, there's another way to handle this, and you can choose to either tear up these sections in little pieces of different colors, which is an easy way to do it, or you can tear it up all the way across. I think little sections might be the easiest way. And then I can take these colors individually and use them as tiny tears. Either way, it'll give me the same result. So I just want you to see what I've got to start with, and I'm just going to tear this up and cover my beads. And here I'll do a tiny one to show you how I'm going to do it. I'm just taking little pieces. Come on, camera, focus. There we go. And I'm just going to randomly put them all over my bead. And then I'll grab another color, like here's a pinkish one, and I'll just start putting these colors all over my bead until I get this random blend that looks like it's torn paper. Now the black has a little bit more of an edging than the white, so you're going to get a different effect. And you'll see in the end when I compare the beads how different they are from one another. And see this edge where I don't have any leaf? Let me take that out of the camera. I am just going to tear that off and use that in my scrap clay. And then I'm just going to come back and use that edge right up on my bead. And so basically, instead of grabbing little strips, I'm just going to grab individual pieces. And so just different ways you're going to do it. I'm sure anybody can make this mistake. It's really, really easy because once you've covered it with gold leaf, you can't tell which way the colors are. So it is a blessing that sometimes these accidents happen so that I can share with you not to panic and that it's just clay and we can still make it work. It's just instead of having little pieces that you just grab from, you use big pieces, that's all. But once again, I've got it all over itself, and let me show you quickly how you get a rough version of that bead. And you see how you're starting to get the black edges, so it really does look like it's collaged. So let me finish up a tray of these and come back and show you. So my favorite part, show and tell, I just wanted to show you, these were the blue and yellow beads that I said would look so pretty with some lavender, and so I've just put some lavender flowers in with them and used a lavender clasp, and you can see it just totally changes the look. It's not as thick and full as a cha-cha. Sometimes I just like some movement in a bracelet without it being so heavy and bulky. And then I also created these pastel beads, And they just have a few very, very pale pastel colors. They're just purple and blues. And I created just this crystal necklace and a simple pair of earrings, just a straight string, which is real easy to do. Just something simple, but yet very elegant looking against the white. And then I created, using just white clay and blue clay, and the gold leaf on top. The blue is on the bottom, the white is on the top. I created these beautiful turquoise beads, and it created this wonderful memory wire bracelet, which you now know is so simple to make. And it's just such a great looking bracelet with these larger beads. And I also created this whole tray of beads. And these are the lighter pastel that I did, where I added the rainbow and I just added the extra white to it and put the black underneath. And it creates this great little kind of a crackly kind of effect, almost raku-ish. And if I bring these a little closer, you can really see. There we go. You can see they have just those hints of black crackles. I really like the way these look. And then this is the rainbow in a solid. I just tore them up, and these had the white underneath. So instead of having the black edges, they have the white. Just different ways you can take the same strip of clay, and by adding the white to it or leaving it without the white. Here's once again the rainbow, and with the white, you can see the white little edges. That's how I got that look. And these were the teardrops that I created using the same rainbow piece, just using one side that had the blue and green and the other side that had the pink and purple, and you get just a completely different look. So I like doing the rainbow sometimes, not that you have to use it all together. And this was just some purple. This is the same that I made the necklace with, purple and blue, that I had done really light pastel and just put the gold leaf on top of with white underneath. So it gave this very subtle raku-ish kind of a look. And then this one was like a raspberry with some blue and green and black underneath, and it gave this, once again, completely different look. And then I just have some simple earrings showing how I've used these teardrops just a little differently. I've added some canes to this one. And then here was the yellow teardrop earrings with the blue, just real simple. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you have lots of fun, and I've given you lots of ideas to create. So thanks so much for watching.